Had 2 rounds of the men's 4x100 metres qualifiers, and now it's the turn of the women. Same as before. First 3 to go through as of right. 2 fastest non-automatic qualifiers. There's the Swedish quartet of Henriksson, Busk, Sveinart, and I think there's been a bit of a change in the draws. So there's the Belgians. Van Breuk, Poynet, Cocout and Laos. From Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Asher Phillip in there. And the good Spanish team of Molina Prados, Bestui, Sevilla and Maria Perez, the Spanish record holder at 100 metres. On their inside, Valhuber, Wally, who we've seen in the 100 and 200 metres, Lindner and Presler. Italians, Dosso, Hooper, Bongiorni and Pavesi. We've seen stronger Italian quartets in their time. Just wondering whether they've got the capacity to go through. And the Greeks, Michelidou, Pesaridou, Anastiu and Spanudaki Chatsarigi. So Great Britain, Northern Ireland, the defending champions from Berlin. Asher Phillip, the lead-off runner, and she hands over to Imani Lanzako. Bianca Williams with team captain Ashley Nielsen on the anchor leg. Great Britain, Northern Ireland very much the favourites for this race, but it could be a real battle for the other 2 automatic qualifying spots. And Asher Phillip away very, very quickly. She's already managing to take the stagger against the Belgian. Now it's Imani Lanzako running the long back leg. And it's a good clean changeover as well between the 2 Britons. And the Britons have quite a significant lead now. Showing well on their outside, Belgium and Sweden. All Britain need now is a safe changeover, and they've got it. So Ashley Nielsen bringing Britain home. Coming up quickly on their inside, Denmark with Glenna Franstead. Well, it's Great Britain not really needing to get out of second gear. The Danes running well, and also Spain on the inside. Maria Perez making up for a slightly disappointing 100 metres. Great Britain, Northern Ireland, 42.83. Solid performance rather than spectacular for Britain, but they got the job done and got through to tomorrow's final. Spain also qualified as of right. Italy.
Spanish team carrying on where they left off at the World Championships. They were great there. You talk about team being better than their separate parts. Spain are certainly one of those. Season's best for Belgium as well. To sit and wait to see whether themselves and Sweden with those times will be fast enough for non-automatic qualifying. Great to see Asher Phillip for Great Britain on that lead leg. She had to skip the individual event. She contracted COVID, and I wasn't sure whether she was even going to be here, Nick, or whether that was the end of her championships and her season. But good to see Asher Phillip back here as part of the relay squad. Like with the men's team for Great Britain, Northern Ireland, fairly safe handovers. The Spanish team are very well drilled. We talked about these teams that can have a consistent lineup and they can practice those handovers out again and again. Great final leg from Spain. Ultimately, Ashley Nielsen holding on for the win, but Italy looking really technically good as well. See the discipline there from Ashley Nielsen. This is the name of the game. You've got to put your hand out and trust that your teammate is going to give the baton to you. You don't want to be looking around and slowing down. Good performance all round. And then really impressed, given the early morning, the cold weather conditions. Just that one drop baton so far from Denmark in Heat 2 of the men's race. And we haven't seen any disqualifications yet. The judges will go back and look at everything with a fine-tooth comb to ensure that the baton was handed over within the changeover zone.
Raises the question as to whether Britain should even risk bringing in Dina Asher-Smith. Of course, she's got the 200-metre final to come, but given the fact that she's had some injury and cramp problems, I'm wondering whether they're also going to bring in Daryl Neater. I would imagine that they will.
Yeah, it's always, like we said, is that toss-up between people that are very used to doing handovers and can read each other's speed. You need to look back at the athlete and go, are they on their top form, playing, going to a meet, and suddenly you've been sat in a team hotel for 4 or 5 days as everybody else has got their chance to go and perform. So I think you might like to ease your way into the competition.
There's something to do with that. Let's just have a look and see whether there is any. That looks like the Danes were changing over outside of the zone. Is it the Spanish as well? No, the Spanish are solid. Yeah, the Danes are all over the place there. Not so great from the Danes.
You can see that yellow tick on the ground. That's that here about this track in Munich. It's not brand new like some of the other championship tracks we get, and perhaps a little bit harder to deal with when it's wet. And like I said, just having that confidence when you're sprinting at a line like that, really hard.
Well, we've just seen Great Britain, Spain and Italy go through from the first heat of the women's 4x100. Now it's the second heat, and on the outside it's a useful French quartet, Hanfouet, Joseph, Parissot and Leconte. This is Florian Hanfouet with the baton tucked in her vest. And we've got cameras at every position, giving a shout out to all the 4 women out there. For Poland, Stefanovic, Kotila, Popovic, Drapola, and on the anchor leg, the very fast finishing Eva Svoboda. She'll keep Poland in contention, I'm sure. Kojic, Soti, Takash and Toth for the Hungarians. Big smile there from Boglarka Takash on the third leg. Kubikova, Lamarkova, Kozakshinkova and Kaisarova for Czech Republic. Germany, well, she was in fine form in the women's 200-metre semis. The lead-off leg, Alexandra Bergart, Lisa Meyer, Jessica Bianca-Vesely and Rebecca Haas, the very experienced anchor leg runner for Germany. Finland. Well, for the Finns, it's Kailainen, Hukkinen, Kortelemar and Persianen. And this is a good Dutch quartet as well for this heat. Ketia Sedo leading off for the Dutch, and she'll be handing over to Zoe Sednam, Minka Bishops and Naomi Sedney as well. So the 2 Sedney sisters. And on the inside, Geraldine Frey, Isla Del Ponte, who's decided just to concentrate on the relay. Doesn't feel her form was good enough to contest the individual events. Salome Cora and Melissa Goodschmidt. The Germans you'd have to go with. A bit difficult to pick who might else go through from this heat. Swiss, the Dutch, and also the French all have pretty useful quartets out there. So as they settle into the blocks, it's Switzerland, Netherlands, Finland, Germany, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland and France. I overlook the Poles. They could very much be in contention.
Set.
Well, Poland away very strongly on the opening leg. Also Germany doing well at the moment. Lisa Meyer having a blistering back straight. Well, the Poles doing extremely well, and France have done well over the last 2 legs after a slow start. Germany have quite a bit of ground to make up. It's the French who hand over first, but now it's Rebecca Haas trying to chase down her French rival, and Haas is making up the ground. But it's going to be France just holding off Germany. I think it was Poland who got through for third. So a terrific last let by Mallory Lecomte to hold off the fast-finishing Rebecca Haas. And Eva Svoboda gets Poland into the final as well. We'll bring you confirmation as well of who the two fastest non-automatic qualifiers are. The Dutch, well, let's see how they did. 43.24 for France. Not quite as quick as the first leg. 43.33 for Germany, and Poland going through in third place, despite the best efforts of Eva Svoboda having to settle for third in that heat. The Dutch, 43.75. And it's the Dutch and the Belgians who go through as the fastest non-automatic qualifiers. I thought it was some sloppy changeovers by the Dutch. To be honest, I was focusing more on the front end and the French and the Germans, but I did catch one or two quite poor changeovers by the Dutch, and that's probably what held them back from the three automatic qualifying positions. We'll have a look at that on the replay. Nevertheless, no problems at all. Four very happy French women. And a good final leg by Maria Lecomte. Bit of a struggle. Kanafua wasn't great on the opening leg, but the French did pick it up very quickly.
Eva Svoboda of Poland brought her team through from about 6th, I think, to 3rd. This is the penultimate changeover here. We'd already lost Finland at this point. They did carry on. I do think they'll be disqualified very late, first changeover. At this point, France running superbly well, and they were fast and fluent, and did spot there Switzerland. Alex Seftel pointing them out on the screen. Looks like they could have drifted out of their lane, but Eva Svoboda came powering through. She is pretty much the reason that Polish team are in that top 3. And here we can see that first changeover for Finland. Desperately sad there to see they just couldn't quite stretch all the way to get the baton to the receiving runner. Perhaps the receiving runner started too early, went too fast. So many fine margins in the relay handovers. But you can see Alex Seftel spotting quite rightly that final changeover from Switzerland could be scrutinised by the judges.
Yeah, it was also a bit sluggish, wasn't it? And I think when you consider that they're a team with Majinga Kambunji, who certainly I think would have made them a medal contender come the final, but maybe didn't have the strength in depth to make too many changes, which we can sometimes see.
The instant debrief there. It's such a fine balance between trying to learn from these experiences but also be frustrated if it's not gone quite right, and it's really important to maintain that team unity, whether you've been eliminated and you're looking to next season, or even more importantly if you've got a final to try and get yourself together for. It's a real team effort.
Over the years, Germany have produced so many very, very good women's 4x100